Welcome back to another Tantalizing Tuesdays with your girl, Shanika Marie with Axe Marie with the Chronicles of Chocolate Syrup, where we're healing your mind, your body, and your soul. Yes, y'all. And we have a special edition today called Mother to Mother. And I know you guys just went through a beautiful Mother's Day, and hopefully everybody got everything they wanted, even in the midst of the quarantine. I hope you got you some love, because love, God, is the most important thing that we can give, that we can receive, and that we can embark on. The journey of love is everything. But this episode here is called Mother to Mother. Yes, to all my new mothers, all of my pregnant mothers, all of my mothers that have been mothers for less than 10 years, plus 20 years, and 30 years, and 40 years. Here's some messages, hopefully, that can help smooth and groove and heal your heart, to help heal certain aspects of yourself that you didn't know need to be healed, and just for some good old inspiration, okay? And today I have a special guest in the building, kicking it off, no other than my mother, Miss Willietta Davis Sadler. Say hey, Mom.
Hey.
So listen, guys, I just wanted to kind of course, start off with my mom. But Mom, what advice would you give? So you've been a mother for 44 years? Yes. So what advice would you give to, and I'm not the oldest, so y'all don't be trying to count my age, okay? Put your fingers down, back up. What advice would you give to the new mothers? I would say out there.
Hey, I know that that's the hardest thing, is learning how to be a mother.
Okay.
And you learn each day as you go.
Okay.
I mean, stuff come up, so
yes,
you just gotta deal with it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So let's talk about the time that I called you. I think my daughter was maybe 2 months old.
And you dropped her.
No, see, I was gonna tell them that when y'all ain't drop her. Okay, y'all, she rolled off the bed. Okay, but so right there, that's telling you guys. She's telling all my secrets, all of my secrets.
New mother.
Yeah, as a new
mother. Call the ambulance. Should I call the ambulance?
No, but remember, I did call the ambulance one time.
I know.
Remember when I couldn't get her woke?
I know.
And you told me, you was like, well, put a wet cloth on. I said I did. Well, take her clothes off. I did. I mean, everything, y'all, she was saying, I basically had already done. And then the last resort, she was like, well, call the ambulance. Y'all, my baby was just asleep. And she sleep hard to this day, okay? And she was not wake up. I think I was trying to nurse her, and it was time for her to eat. And I don't know. I was just so overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed at the time.
That's a new mother instinct.
Oh, my God. Look.
A new mother instinct.
Look. They was like, she's fine. Her heartbeat's fine. And it was just so overwhelming. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
And I was living in Fayetteville. It was just so interesting. But it's something about a mother's love that is undeniable and unconditional. Absolutely. And so what else would you tell them? What was one of the scariest moments outside of just as a young mother? What was one of the scariest moments for you as a young mother?
When Kirby had I forgot the name.
Scarlet fever.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay.
That was scary.
So what happened? How did you find out he had it? Like, what was he doing?
He had a temperature of 103. I took him to the emergency room.
Okay. And so what was he doing at home before you took him?
Just hot. He wasn't whining or nothing. He was just quiet and laying up under me. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, this boy's too hot. Let me go and take him on to the emergency room. Yeah.
How long was he laying around?
2 days.
Okay. And how old was he?
6 months.
6 months. Oh, wow. Wow. So he wasn't doing his typical behavior.
No, he wasn't. I thought maybe it was just like a little virus or something. But then when it lasted the second day, I said, no, it's time for me to take him out of here.
Okay.
And the emergency room really didn't do anything. It was a Puerto Rican person that lives upstairs, and he told me to put a half an onion in each sleeper leg.
Okay. Y'all, she's taking it old school, y'all.
And it drawed all the people out, and the onion was cooked.
Oh, wow.
The next morning.
Okay.
His people was gone, though.
Oh, wow. So, she's dropping knowledge, y'all. So, y'all hear that? So, make sure if you guys... Because I've actually tried it, and it actually does work. Because, listen, if y'all got an old school mother like myself, listen, y'all better take out a sheet of paper and take some notes, okay? Because I have definitely used the onions in the sock technique, and it really does work. And I think that just even little things like that, I mean, and for the people that mothers has already transitioned, I think is very good to honor our mothers, because at the end of the day, you only got one mama. You know, and there's some special people out here that have moms and stepmoms, and they have double love, and get to experience love in different ways. And even I have a couple of godchildren. I have a couple of beautiful young people that call me mom and ask me for advice, and I just welcome them, because it gives me the opportunity to give more love and to kind of impart some of the wisdom I think I have, you guys. But no one understand, I always call Willietta to the David Sadler, okay? Willietta is what I call her. Ma. And so I remember when Wayne got burned. How was that day like for you?
Oh my God. It was terrible. It was terrible. My nerves were so all to pieces. I don't know how it happened. I went to the bathroom. When I come back, I heard him screaming. And when I came back out, whole legs was burnt.
And it was so bad that his skin was coming off. I remember with his pants leg. And I was young. I know I had to have been about 8 or 9, but I remember it so vividly. But actually, as a CNA, you was a CNA at that time, right?
Yeah. And
so I know that you had experience. So I'm thinking that maybe that experience helped you too, right?
Yeah. I know you use Silverderm that help burns.
Okay. Okay.
But it's mother's instinct. That's all it's about. I mean, and it's a real good mother when you can look at your child. Well, my child learned this from me, like keeping your house clean.
Okay. Yeah.
Trying to dress nice.
Right.
Don't go out there looking all cute and then go to the house and the house look like...
Okay, listen. And even with my mother working 2 and 3 jobs, I know when I first got my master's, I know you guys hear me talk about that sometimes. I worked 2-3 jobs. I think I had 4 jobs at one time. I was working at the school as a school therapist. I was doing individual work for 2 agencies, and I was a QP for an agency. I was hustling, and I was so tired. But that, afforded me.
You got to take care of them kids.
Yeah, the ability to be able to get different stuff
for themselves.
Right.
They can't do for themselves. You got to do for them. But when they get a certain age, you got to teach them to go out there and do the same thing you did.
Right.
And that's being a grown adult.
And I was happy to have had that in you. I remember when you got really sick one time, and I think that she got sick because she was working. So I think at the time she was working like 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And even with that being said, we can always say, well, our mothers didn't do this and didn't do that. But I was telling somebody that people do the best that they can do. Anytime a person go out there and hustle and try to make sure. I remember times when my mother wasn't eating and she made sure that we ate. We have to honor the things that our parents are doing right. Our mothers are doing right. Like, really, like if there's no other time in your life but on Mother's Day. And even after Mother's Day, that's why I'm running this segment. Because for me, you can have Mother's Day all week. Okay, listen. So y'all, Mother's Day, it is was Sunday, and you're hearing this on Tuesday, honey, you got the rest of the week. Call up there and say, "Oh, Ma, I forgot to give you this." Send us some flowers to her house. Actually, I just when my mother some flowers. I'm just saying, just say that. Say that.
I mean, real ones I buried in the ground, so I can always remember this day.
Okay, how about it? So, is there anything else you would want to say, just to the people on
No, just follow your instinct. That always works.
Mother's instinct. So first of all, she told us about some onions, y'all, to break them fevers. She told us to kind of, she didn't say the exact words, but just kind of be calm. She said her nerves were shot, but I remember so clearly she reacted very quickly. She called 911. She got the clothes off him. She soothed him. So for me, just kind of remember that as a mother, that child looks to you. And so even in the moment when you want to just flip out, just breathe, because when you act crazy, it's going to promote fear in them. And you guys know that your thoughts and your actions is the biggest thing to maintain us, is 10% of what happened to you. Okay, but 90% is how you react. 90% lays the foundation. So with that being said, I love you, Mom.
I love you too, Kiki.
Yes, I know y'all heard people up here call me Kiki. That's one of my nicknames. I got so many AKAs. But you guys know me as Shanika to the Marie. And y'all, right quick, honey, we going on this commercial break. But I had to start this thing off right and exact with my mother and the whole buildings. Say bye to the people, Mom.
Bye. Be good mothers.
Yeah. And happy Mother's Day, because Mother's Day is all year long, honey, and we're keeping it popping, keeping it moving. We're going to a quick commercial break. This is 72.9 The Voice. This is your girl Shanika Marie, and I love you. I love you. Come on back. Peace. Peace, peace, peace.
A social distancing tip.
While the CDC urges you to avoid close contact, like hugging or shaking hands, there are other non-physical ways to say hello. Wave, wink, use sign language, salute, smile, give the peace sign, throw up an air high five, do jazz hands. Remember, stay a minimum of 6 feet or 2 arms length away from others and stay home if you can. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Guys, so, this is a special episode, and I'm having different mothers talking about things that they would want to tell mothers, or things they would want to tell their mothers. Actually, the young woman that we're about to speak to, she actually has been a mother for a very long time, and she actually recently lost a mother-in-law. So she was just saying that, she would have some great advice to give. And so, Treese, what would you tell to new mothers or to mothers in general about being a mother, or just appreciating motherhood in general?
I would say it's okay to cry. We all have those days when we just want to give up.
I feel overwhelmed, absolutely.
If you're overwhelmed, yes. Because, it can be overwhelming, because, you have this child that depends on you, whether the father's there or not.
Right.
So at the end of the day, just stay strong. And when you feel like giving up, just look down and say, and look and see who's looking up at you.
Wow.
So just, keep pushing. And keep praying. And have faith and believe that better days are coming.
Because I know that you have older children as well.
Yes.
And you have 11. He's 11, right?
Yes.
And so one of your children are basically grown. So what would you say would be the biggest joy as far as raising a young adult at this point?
Watching them grow. Because, from birth to the age they are now, I watch them, just grow, like different personalities, like once they began to learn who they were, I had to accept the choices that they made,
Right.
whether they were good or bad.
And you know what? I can say I've known this beautiful woman for a very long time, and she actually had a son that from a very young age showed very feminine energy. And I can say from day one she was supportive. And so what would you tell mothers that have children that like the same sex? Because I've seen you do it, and you done it with Freedom and Ease. You done it, and you was like, "This is my boo." I mean, what would you say? Because I haven't, had to, as far as a male, because he's a male. Because I know it's different for men.
Right.
So tell me, how did you respond to that, and what would you tell mothers to keep them? Because he's healthy right now, he loves you to pieces,
Yes.
and he loves you to pieces because I think you were one of the first people he came out to.
Yes.
Yeah. And so let's talk about that. Like, what would you tell those mothers?
Still love them. Don't judge. Don't ever make them feel like they can't come to you about anything. Even though, because it's not just my son, it was my daughter too. Mm-hmm. And even though it hurts, because you're like, why? Mm-hmm. What did I do wrong? Mm-hmm. What happened? Did somebody do something? Because that's the first thing went through my mind was like, did somebody touch you? Them? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, that's the choice that they made. Mm-hmm. And I had to tell myself, it's not your fault.
Right.
But at the end of the day, even though they choose to like the same sex, I still love them because they are still my children.
Period. And I think just with that, love is love. Mm-hmm. And we having children out here that's killing themselves because their parents are not loving them for who they decide to be. And now they may not be this way for the rest of their life, but sometimes they are. Mm-hmm. Whatever way, they are made by God, the Most High.
Yes.
So whatever they choose to do, they are still a product of God's love regardless.
Exactly.
And sometimes I think that situations happen in our lives to show and kind of challenge us to see if we are walking in our divine purpose, to show universal love, to show unconditional love, to show the highest form of love.
Yes.
And let's I want y'all to kind of give her a silent hand right now, because she's not used to being, on the quote unquote radio, but you've done a fabulous job. And I really think that this is something that they needed to hear. And I thank you. You've done a great. And see, when you're talking, it's easy, right? It's easy. It's easy. So one last thing that you would say to the mothers, and I'm gonna let you go.
Never have regrets for having a child. Mm-hmm. And even those that did decide to, make another choice, at the end of the day, still love that child. Unconditional love is the best love to give a child. Because when there's no one, when they feel like there's no one else is out there for them, they know they always have their mother.
What?
They always have their
Wait
mother.
a minute. She said they will always have their mother. And y'all, on that note, just say bye to the people.
Bye.
And we're hoping, that, I know, not even hoping, I know that she's going to continue to be a great mom. And on that note, we're going to have somebody else on the line. Peace. I'm so happy I was able to hear such a great perspective on how a mother has to handle children coming out. I think that's important because we have children that are taking their lives because they're not felt loved, they're not feel wanted, they're not feeling like they are the products of God. And I think it takes a special kind of person to, not even special, just having a person that has an open mind and an open heart, because God knows what he's doing when he presents certain children to certain parents. I will say that. And even with the parents that are having a difficult time dealing with stuff like that, I hope that was an eye-opener, because parents out here, they're doing it and they are being supportive of their children. So with that being said, I have a very special mother. She's actually a nurse, y'all. She's an essential worker, honey. Yes, yes. And so I know during a difficult time as a mother, just to start out, because you are an essential worker and you are a nurse, and things are a little bit different for you. And she has boys, so boys is not as sentimental. But do you think they're concerned about your welfare during this time? I mean, let's talk about that first.
I would say probably more or less maybe my youngest, maybe
Okay.
Kamari is more concerned. I think he probably knows a little bit more, maybe listen a little bit more than my oldest.
Okay.
The oldest, I think he's kind of the type of person that doesn't understand until it kind of smacks you in the face kind of thing. He's 20 years old, don't really understand what's going on, don't watch the news.
Right.
As long as it's not directly affecting him, I don't think he really understands, even though I'm out there in it and I express it to him daily about the places that you go and you need to wear a mask or, you need to keep your 6 feet. I'm not exactly sure if it actually clicks.
I know that's interesting. Okay, so first of all, let's rewind back a little bit. So this is the RN. Guys, I interviewed her maybe 2-3 months ago just about how far she's come as an individual, just going through life changes, growing up, like suffering through not even suffering, just the challenges of growing up in poverty, like me and her both, and just being very successful, and not only just with money, but in her spirit and how she carries herself and how she loves people, being successful in that, right? And so to have that balance as a mom. So Miss Felicia, what would you tell people? Because I see that you balance well. I actually was on the phone with her maybe a couple weeks ago, and she don't even know I'm going to say this, but she was like writing her children like little letters, and I do stuff like that, and almost like love letters, kind of encouragement. So let's talk about what's the balance, because we are treating our children so differently than how we grew up. And that's no disrespect to our mothers, because remember, we're saying that our mothers can only show us what they've learned.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times I think people, again, get caught up in how they were raised and be upset. But you are the person that can change your future. And this person right here, Miss Felicia, is evidence of that. So let's talk about that. And so what was the deciding factor, the how to parent different and all of that?
I would say I don't know if I just know that sometimes some kids are resilient, some kids are not resilient. That's how sometimes you see people or children let their because they feel like they're a product of their environment, so they continue to let the cycle continue and continue and continue. And just for me, I've always, since even when I was younger, I've always, even if it was something that I didn't get from my mother, I always had friends that I was with that were, their parents was very caring. Their parents, showed me love. So some things I got from just that, just having that nurturing from maybe other people that wasn't necessarily from me. So, from my direct family or whatever. But it's just something, if I set my mind to it, I just do it. And I'm sure that's something instilled from me, probably from my mom and probably from my dad. If I put my mind to something, I'm going to do it. When I said I wanted to be a nurse, and I really said that I wanted to be a nurse, and I put my mind to it, I did it. So I constantly instill in my kids, definitely my oldest, because he's 20 and he's trying to figure out, how to be a man and who he is at this point. So I try to just instill in him, like, you can do anything you want to do, as a mother, I'm not a father. I can't teach him exactly how to be a man, but I can.
So pause. Y'all, it's about that time. So we're going to come back because she's going to finish this up. But right now, we got to go pay some bills. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break. I love you. We will be back. Peace.
Are you pregnant in the triangle? Birth and Beyond Incorporated is a full-service doula agency offering birth and postpartum doula support, placenta encapsulation, childbirth education, and belly binding. Our website is birthandbeyonddoulas.com. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Birth and Beyond Doulas. Our mission is to help families seamlessly transition into parenthood. Are you looking for this kind of support? Feel free to reach out at 919-239-1613.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Yes, so Miss Felicia was talking about something as far as her not being a father and raising young, healthy men. Okay, so what were you saying about that?
I was just saying that basically, like, I can't teach him how to be a man, but I can instill in him values that will teach him to, you know, to treat people the way that he wants to be treated, to love people with the heart of God when you love people. Teach him that, you know, sometimes you have to get out there. You have to work for what you have. Like, everything is not going to always be handed to you. Because I think sometimes, because I lack things as a child, sometimes I think I give way too much. So, you know, just teaching them, you know, some things you have to work for. Everything is not going to be set in your lap and it's just there to reach. You know, you can't count my dollars. You have to go out and get your own.
Okay, how about that? And so this is our mother to mother segment. So what would you tell other mothers, young mothers, old mothers, it doesn't even matter, just mothers in general. Because, you know, Mother's Day just passed. But I decided to do this after Mother's Day because Mother's Day is continual. Because these are the people that come from our womb. Society knows, okay? Now, I'm not saying nothing about fathers, but we are the ones that, at the end of the day, they come to in most instances. Yeah. And so what would you say to mothers to help guide them and to help, or either to older mothers that's been mothers for 40 or 50 years, just mothers in general?
I would say, you know, just keep pushing, keep loving, keep trusting God. If someone doesn't have a relationship with God, to just get a relationship with God. If you feel like, you know, things aren't right or you're still suffering things from your past, get the healing that you need. Get a therapist. Get a friend that you can talk to. You know, talk to God if you don't, you know, if you don't have anybody to talk to, but just keep pushing. Don't give up. Keep taking care of your children. Keep pushing them to be the best selves that they can be. Young, old, it don't matter if they're 30, if they're still not where they want to be, keep pushing them, keep inspiring them, keep encouraging them to be the best them that they can be always.
I like that. So what I'm hearing, I heard a couple things from you. One of the things I thought was very important, to sum it up, is like, don't give up. And I know a lot of moms get frustrated because their children are not where they want them to be. And for me, I think that, you know, everyone, including our kids, have their own journey. And if we get caught up in what they're doing and what they're not doing, then we will forever be not allowed to live our own lives. And that's not fair to us. And that's not healthy for us. And that's not healthy for them, because we're not allowing them the room to be who they are. We're not allowing them to grow. Yeah. So what is one last thing, or you just want to say? So we're gonna wrap you up. And I appreciate you being on here and appreciate you being who you are. And that was definitely inspiration for me, because she didn't even know. I think we was on FaceTime or something. She didn't even know that that I was getting ready to call. Like, what you doing? And she said she was writing notes, and she called them in there. Oh yeah, I do want to ask that, y'all. Okay, so how did they respond to when you give them notes and stuff as boys?
I mean, they don't really respond. Like, it's like, okay, I love you too. Like, no real response, but I mean, no response. Just that response is their response. Right. So it's like, this is a good response because that's what I expect. It's like they not excited about anything at these ages.
Right. They're not.
I'm not a little girl, so they not excited about it.
Right. But did you see a difference? Okay, y'all, look, I study behavior, and so I always look at different behaviors, like even if I do something small. Did you notice a difference the next day? I mean,
I would say yeah.
Like did they hug you more, kind of joke or something?
Yes, definitely.
See, and so just right there, I just wanted to ask her that on the radio right quick. So you guys have to understand, so even though it may not seem like a little thing that you guys do matters, even if it's taking the time out to send them a text and be like, hey, I'm thinking about you. all of those things matter, and they may not respond, like you said, the way that you think they should respond at a particular time. But rest assured that is transitioning something within them. It's giving them a sense of love. It's giving them a sense of safety. So on that note, Miss Felicia, thank you. Say bye to the people. Bye. We have had some beautiful women here talking about motherhood. We've had, of course, my mother that started it out, and we had a young woman that talked about being able to understand and still love her children that were considered gay. And for me, she said gay means happy, so I love it. And we also had a nurse that works all kind of hours, and she was talking about how she was resilient and was able to continue to be a great mom to the best of her ability. And now we have a young lady that had her son at, you were 39?
35.
Oh, excuse me, 35. I'm sorry. I'm trying to give her some more age. She looked beautiful, y'all. She looked beautiful. So with that being said, what would you say would be the greatest joy of being a mother?
An older mother.
An older mother.
To a younger kid. I'm
Yes.
just saying. I would say to actually finally have had him. Because I had him later in life. Most of my friends were having kids in their 20s. But I had made it a preference of mine to wait till I was married to have a child. So for me to actually get married and find out that I was having a baby at that age was a surprise.
Okay.
Because I wasn't looking for it.
Okay.
So me being able to be more settled in my thought process and how I'm actually knowing who, on the road to knowing who I am. So with him, I'm raising him, and at the same time I'm raising him, he's pretty much raising me too.
All right. I think that's such an honest statement that a lot of mothers should understand, because it's a process. Because I think our kids will show us things about ourselves.
Yes, because one thing I have learned is you can't beat you out of your child. He has a lot of my personality, and I see myself in him daily.
Wow.
And so the things that I thought that I had dealt with, when you see it manifest in your child, it's an eye opener. And then the things that I went through, even when carrying him, to see, we don't realize that when we're carrying a baby, that some of the things that we go through actually affect an unborn child. But when you see it manifest in your child, and you be like, what? How did that happen? It's an eye opener also. Yeah.
So what message would you give to mothers out there, young mothers, or even what would you want to say to your mother? First
of all,
okay.
I was the last of 6. My mother had her children. She had my sister. My older sister is 10 years older than me. So my mother had 6 kids in 10 years.
Okay.
My 2 older siblings were 9 months apart. Then a year later, my mama had a baby. Then a year later, my mama had another baby.
Okay.
And then about 6 years later, she had my brother. Then a year later, she had me.
Okay.
So by the time she got to what we call the second set, she was tired.
Okay.
And so we had to depend upon our older siblings to pretty much raise us, because she was working, trying to make sure her kids had what they needed. So to be able to look back at her life and see that she did it. And her husband died young, so she had her children. She had a whole lot of kids with no husband. To see that she could do it and still go to work every day, and she would always push us to handle our business and to be the best mothers we could be to our children. A lot of women don't have that. You know, my mom at 18, 19 years old, she was a mom, and she was a mother. She was a stay-at-home mother. You know, 18, 19 years old now, your baby with your mama.
Right.
You know, trying to be a mother to your kids on their birthdays, you know.
Right.
You're trying to live your own life. So I would definitely say to my mom that I appreciate the example that she has been for me. To love my children even when it was hard to love myself.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
And what would you tell to the younger mothers?
Even if you aren't ready, it's your responsibility to get ready. If you don't know, ask. Don't just assume that because you're young and you're pregnant that your child can't have a good life and you can't have a good life and that your life is over, because people will tell you that your life is over, but your life is your life. It's up to you to mold and shape it into what you need it to be and what you want it to be. LeBron James' mama, she didn't know what she was birthing when she was pregnant with him. You know, Kobe Bryant's mother didn't know what she was birthing when she was pregnant with him, but they just, whatever their child was bent towards, they nurtured that in them. So it's up to you to nurture your child in the best way possible. What you may consider,
Whatever that looks like.
Yeah, whatever that looks like. What somebody may call a mistake could actually be a blessing to you.
In the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that being said, I think that just showing appreciation for the life that you have in front of you, showing appreciation for your mother, and showing appreciation for your life, to be able to instill in your child and your children things that you think is important.
Exactly.
Wow. So I think that is so great that you were able to share that with us. I thank you so much. Is there any last words you want to say?
To the older mothers, well, not older mothers, but to the women that are waiting to be mothers. You know, the world will tell you at 35 is, high risk and it's too late. When in all actuality, you know your body. If you're healthy, you want to do it, go do it. If you're 40, you want to have a baby.
Okay.
Have your baby at 40 if you're 45. I remember when I gave birth to my son, it was a lady that was 45 having her first baby.
Wow.
So it's never too late
To be a mom.
What does your timeline say? Not what everybody else say. They'll tell you your clock is ticking, but what do you say?
So, sisters, what do you say? And even to the moms out there that have not actually birthed babies, but have birthed babies with your words and with your wisdom. Happy Mother's Day to you as well. And on that note, have a fabulous little break, because we coming back. It's a commercial. It's your girl Shanique Marie with Ask Marie, and say bye to the people.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. And we'll be back. Thank you so much. Peace.
Hi, my name is Latanya Lodge, and I'm the CEO and founder of The Tress Life. The Tress Life is an all-natural hair and body care line that specializes in using ingredients you can read and trust. We cater to all hair types, especially those with natural textures, wavy, and curly hair. Call us today to receive a free consultation by a licensed cosmetologist at 888-311-2479.
Welcome back. Yes, y'all, this is our Mother to Mother special edition, and I had some wonderful, beautiful mothers to drop down and give us some knowledge, give us some inspiration on what they see as motherhood, what motherhood means to them. It's just such a blessing to be able to be a mother. There's no other type of love that you can ever experience that will compare to being a mom. I'm absolutely speechless just about how motherhood has changed me. I remember when my daughter was around maybe 12, and she said, "Mom, I don't like how you talk to me." I'm like, "What, little girl? What?" And I noticed at the time, I think I was working on my master's degree, and I was going through the ins and out of asking questions about how and why and when, things happen in your life and how it affected you. So I talked about, being raped. I talked about being molested. I was talking about being told, I wasn't basically good enough. The murder of my brother, being killed by my brother. So, yeah. And so at the time, I didn't even recognize that I was having anxiety, and it was affecting me because it was like class after class. We were talking about these things because really as a therapist, they want you to be healthy. They want you to be able to recognize things in other people. But first, you have to recognize things within yourself. So it's a lot of intense things that goes on. I know the program I did with Grand Canyon that kind of push you to open your eyes and to be, a better person, to become a better therapist. All that to say, your children will help you grow, because at the time I didn't recognize it. I was stressed until she kind of pulled my card. I was like, you know what? I need to kind of adjust how I'm speaking with her. And it really transitioned how I talk to my kids overall now. I wasn't a mother that cussed my kids out or anything like that. That was never what I'd done. But I think I was probably snappy. Like, what? Because I may be in the middle of, doing something and probably writing a paper or being stressed out about things that was going on between me and my husband at the time. Kids will definitely help put you in a direction where you need to go. And I'm just so humbled and so grateful to have such loving and beautiful kids. My children, for Mother's Day, they actually made me breakfast in bed. I'm talking about a spread. They made pancakes. They cut up bananas with peanut butter. I love peanut butter. I put that on everything. And I make some vegan almond butter and some hummus with some eggs with spinach and avocado cut up and tomatoes cut up, and I had some vegetarian sausages with some mushrooms cut up. Everything was like so cute on like a little clear tray, and they brought it to me with a sunflower. I love flowers, guys. And so they brought it to me. They said, we'll be back 5 minutes, relax. Oh, and they brought me some herbal tea, right? So I'm relaxing. I'm feeling good. I'm like, oh my God, breakfast in bed. Okay. And it was so beautiful. Then they came back, and then they gave me a balloon, Happy Mother's Day, with a bag, and inside the bag they gave me like some AirPods for my phone, because I always try to borrow my daughters, and a necklace. And what's interesting is that we have a group text. Me and my children have a group text, and my son sent the little pods in the group, and they tried to play it off. So I didn't know if it was a mistake. I didn't pay it any mind. I was like, oh, what are y'all doing? Like, no biggie. And they ended up giving it to me for Mother's Day. And they gave me a bouquet of flowers and such a beautiful card. So I'm sitting up here, and the card was like so beautiful, talking about, yes, she did, talking about, it was talking about how, they just respect me as a mom and my grind and my hustle. And it was just really beautiful. And I was just crying because, I'm not going to say that, that your children are a complete reflection of you, because of course they do things that you don't agree with. But when I tell you, when they went out of their way to make sure that I was smiling and that I was just happy, that made me feel so great. Like, wow, and I told them that just looking at you guys is such an inspiration on who I am, and a reflection of the love that I give them, because I really try to show them that I love them. I really try to show them that they're beautiful people, and we all make mistakes. Just try to be a good mother. Look, no one's perfect. I mean, you guys just heard me say that my daughter basically checked me. But listen, y'all, the good news is, well, not the good news, but I would rather say that the interesting part was that years later, I was like, well, sis, You wanted me to kind of change the way I communicate with you, and I did. And so as she got older, if you guys have any teenage girls, you know that 15, 16, they can be very interesting people. And I told her, like, you wanted me to change the way I communicated with you, but you're not changing the way you communicate with me. And that's not fair. We all grow. And so I need you to grow in that area just like I grew, for you, because I love you and I respect you and I want to show you that. Anyway, I just wanted to tell that story about love and a mother's love and just understanding that there are people. My daughter decided to go a different route than where I thought she was going, right? So, for it never bothered me, guys. It never bothered me. I was like, it was interesting because she stopped going to school because she wanted to dance, and I can respect that. But coming from where I came from, being the first person in my family to graduate from college, and getting a master's degree, that was really big. And so, this type of life I have afforded her, and the way we communicate, and the type of things that she was shown on the culture, the places we visited, and things like that is very different than how I grew up. And I think part of that, yes, because of my determination, but for me, also me following my dreams. Not really that I went to college per se, but because I fought so hard to go to college, of course I wanted my child to do the exact same thing. However, as a mother, I respected her to have our own journey because she cannot live the life that I want her to live. And I don't want to be a parent where a child is so consumed with what the parents think that they're not living their lives on their own terms. And not for 1 second do I want her to feel like I'm disappointed in her because she decided to do something that she loves. A lot of times people don't get to do the things that they love because they are so worried about what other people think. One of the biggest joys, I think, of being a young adult and to be able to choose your career wisely is to enjoy it. Most people don't enjoy what they do. And so for her to be bold enough to say, this is not what I want to do. I want to do something different. And it's not because the young lady didn't have the knowledge, because she was valedictorian, She was top of her class at early college with one of the few Black people that attended there. So it shows you that you have to allow your children to be who they are, period. And for me, if I was to drop any kind of mother-to-mother advice, it would be that allowing them to be who they are, just nourish them and nourish their gifts, whatever their gifts are. I think that's the best thing that we can do, is allow them to be people, while respecting you, of course, and respecting themselves, and respecting the essence of being on this earth. Because a lot of times I don't think that, even in this time with the COVID, I think a lot of times we were so caught up before the COVID. I think a lot of awareness has been made, but before the COVID, I think a lot of our attention was paid to the wrong thing. I think that energy has transitioned a bit to allow us to kind of see where we are and where we need to be. Yes. So for my mothers out there that don't think that they're doing good enough, you are doing great. Take a deep breath and talk to your child like you want someone to talk to you. Number one, when they're a child, yes, they are a child. But then let's go back into how you were raised and what felt good to you and what did not feel good to you. How would you have wanted to be treated when you were 9, 10, 5, it doesn't matter, 14, how would you have liked to be treated? Now, we're not perfect, but if we strive to do that, what kind of healthy people are we going to birth into this beautiful world? What kind of people are we going to birth? because that is what I've been subscribing to from day one. To try to treat my children as people, as beautiful people that can make their own decisions, of course within reason. I hope your Mother's Day was absolutely beautiful. I hope you have been inspired by some things that have been said on this show today. And for those that's holding on grudges to your mother, she was a person before she had you. She had trauma. She had things that happened to her that didn't include you. And so what you see, I know I have some friends that have had different experiences with their mother. Some never really tell them that they love them, but you don't know what their parents did. You know, maybe they never told them they love them. So change. I remember before I went to college, my family never hugged because we seen each other every day, you know. But when I went away to college, when I came back home, it was hugs for everybody. It was like, oh my God, hey. And so since college, I remember always hugging, you know, my family, like, and just being very physical as far as showing love. And I love yous came as I got older, like more. And that was something that I had to work on because that was nothing that I grew up with. And so now almost every time I see my children, you know, always saying about like, I love you. And even my friends now, which is my family as well, I tell them, so on this day, happy Mother's Day. And if no one told you today, I love you. And I hope you guys' day was absolutely beautiful because you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. You guys be safe. Wash your hands. And stay balanced and peace during this time of interesting things going on a time of interesting things. But Mother's Day is something beautiful to celebrate. So even if you didn't celebrate it on Sunday, celebrate it today. Celebrate it tonight. Celebrate it tomorrow. And tell your mother you love her. And tell her you forgive her. And then start working on forgiving yourself for hating your mom for the things that maybe she didn't have the opportunity to fix. So anyway, I love you guys. This is 72.9 The Voice. This is Shanika Marie, the Chronicles of Chocolate Syrup, baby, where we're healing your mind, your body, and your soul. This is Axe Marie. I love you. Have a fabulous night. Peace.